Already woke, spit a joke, barely spoke, rarely smoked, stared at folks when properly provoked, mirror broke.
Welcome back to another video of mine, and I don't know exactly how my upload schedule will go, but it was either the video prior or the video after this. We have discussed this graph on Instagram that I have seen and I have commented on in the video. And based on that, I wanted to make a video on a more broad issue. We have touched a bit on racism, and I have said some things about racism, but I want to make my stance on it clear, since the issue itself was kind of dominant in this year with the protests and with Trump and Kanye. You know what I'm talking about. The politics and also our social life has been kind of full with it, so I decided that it would be the best course of action to sort of say my thoughts on it and make a final stance. Now, you have probably heard the statement that we are all racist. Now, the people who, I wouldn't quite say only the Black Lives Matter movement, I would say the more liberal people and the more let's be accepting and all types of folks, they are more prone to answer like, and we should work on that. The thing is that many people disagree with the statement itself. Like, I'm not racist, I have a black friend, and you know, those types of people. But essentially speaking, I dare to say that we all are racist. We are. And is it something to be worked on? I don't think we can quite literally just get rid of it. I think it's more natural to us to be racist than to not be racist. That doesn't mean that racism should kind of continue, or there should be racial attacks, or we should segregate races. I just think that racism is very broad, and it affects whether a black man, white man, Asian man, Hispanic man, any minority or majority in question is affected by racism, but not to the extent that somebody's racist to them, but to the extent that they are racist to somebody else. Everybody is racist is a statement that talks about our basic biology, and that being of the fear of unknown. We fear the unknown. That is not a fact that we should argue with because, well, it's a fact. We are scared of something unknown. If you want an example, for example, the first time you went driving, try to remember the experience. You are probably scared of the car, of what it will do if you won't crash. Now you drive without this fear. You are more prone to sort of lose the fear if you understand how it works. So now that you understand that how a car works, you are much less scared to drive it around, and maybe to drive it a bit recklessly too, than you were before you entered the car, or your first time you entered the car. The same goes with racism. We are all racist because we fear the other man. Now, we could possibly make the claim that we fear everybody, essentially, because we don't know them perfectly. But we could also make the claim that you fear somebody in the street at midnight that is suspiciously walking towards you more than your own mother. I think that's pretty straightforward. And this goes out also to the racial question or the racial issue. We are more prone to trusting our own race. So in my case, I would be more prone to trusting white people than I would be of any other race. Now, that's quite a strong statement. That's something that the liberals don't want to hear. They want to hear the first part of the equation so they can blame others for all the racial problems there are. Now, there is nothing really that can solve the issue in itself, but only to work on it. I do agree here that we have to work on it to eliminate this, but I don't think we can eliminate it always. We can minimize the effects. I think of myself as a pretty tolerant person. I do not have a direct problem with any race or with any, sexuality or religion. It's fine by me. If I see a black person on the street, I do not switch sides. I do not try to get around him. I just walk past him because I take him as a human being, just as me. But I might still have that feeling somewhere deep down. And there is nothing really I can do with it, only to work on it. Now, people who are outright racist, I would say, also on the outer, that they speak against race, that they speak against something. These people are usually scared of something. These people are usually scared of something, so they create a boogeyman to fill the void. And this is the essential problem with racism. I don't think people are racist because they're evil. I think people are racist because they let their fear consume their vision. Racism is kind of illogical if you think about it, but if you let it run wild, it becomes the most logical option, right? Because you fear the other man, you fear the other side, you fear the unknown, so you pretty much make the logical argument that, well, they shouldn't live here because, well, it's the other race, and I don't trust that race, and I have to feel secure in my own country, which on a very, 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 very practical, not practical, very logical, in a way, kind of makes sense. Like, you have to feel safe for yourself, and the natural instinct of feeling safe is there, and it's a strong one. But, a big but, that doesn't mean you can just be racist because you don't trust another race. What people have to understand is that we are all human beings, and we are all mistrustful of each other. And the more a certain quality makes us different, the more prone we are to distrust the people who don't possess their quality or do possess some other quality that makes them even more different. That's why we essentially have friends and enemies, or friends and people who we just talk to. You know, your good friends, you probably understand with them very well. You probably have some common hobbies or common viewpoints. While with the people you just talk around, you don't have that much. And you would much rather trust a friend to, I don't know, do something than a person you just talk to. That is essentially what I'm talking about. And I'm just transforming it into a race. The racial question, of course.
I don't know if it's the hypnosis that's making them slaves or whatnot, but all I know is they already got 2 brothers we know, and there could be a whole bunch of brothers they got already. What's the next move?
And don't ever say that I don't do nothing. Oh, white girl. Oh, they get you every time.
So now that we have identified the problem, let's kind of strive to make a solution, or kind of make sense of it. So let's return to the previous statement, or to the statement we said at the very beginning: we are all racist. Now what should follow? What should be the solution to we are all racist? I think it first of all should be, and that's okay. Because it essentially is. You can't really say that it's a human nature and that it is not okay to be like that. It is like saying it's not okay to be human. I think it's first needed that we accept that we fear something in order to unfear it, right? You first have to confront that you actually fear something, and then we can work on eliminating that fear. I would call it like that, yeah. So, first confront that you are racist, and that you most likely are fearful of the unknown, right? And second of all, try to somehow rationalize it. Now, this does not have to be with race itself. This can be with anything, pretty much. If you have a fear of something, there probably is a reason for it. Why are you fearing it? And if you have a fear for something, you should work in that given area to eliminate it. Now, you might say, well, I'm not racist because I accept all people. But that might be true. As I mentioned, I also think that I'm not racist in these terms. But there is still that feeling, there is still that undertone, there is still that voice inside your head, somewhere very, very in the back, which still has this primal instinct of fearing the unknown, and it is kind of telling you to do it. So you have to realize that when you want to be equal to everybody, when you want to treat everybody equally, because essentially speaking, racism is illogical. We all are human beings. It's just a difference of a skin color. And working with that premise, fearing another human is kind of not, I wouldn't say weird, but it's not something you should do. I'm not saying you should trust everybody. What I'm basically saying is that you shouldn't fear somebody based on some attribute they have. Attribute now meaning something that they cannot change since birth. For example, I don't know, somebody male or female, somebody might be black or white, somebody might be Jewish, somebody might be Christian. And trusting people only from with certain attributes, I don't think that brings too much good to your life. I think having this varied circle brings more interesting opinions, interesting talks, interesting outlooks. And you should work towards that. You should work towards upkeeping a certain circle and certain diversity. And if not, if you don't want, okay, sure. But you should at least work towards the goal of not discriminating, and whether that is consciously or subconsciously. And what is conscious and subconscious discrimination, that will be a follow-up video. So thank you so much for watching, and yeah, see you soon.